welcome to Bite Size Astrology, a unique cooking show where I combine my love of food, all while sharing unique and interesting information about astrology that you can use in bite-sized pieces. My name is Maria DeSimone, and I'm the creator of InsightfulAstrology.com. Welcome to the show. Today, I have a very special guest, and I'm really excited because this is the first time on the show that I've had a guest, and I picked a great one. You're gonna love what Danielle will share with us today. Danielle Allen is the owner, the creator of dee-licious.com. This is a bakery in New York, where we live. We're in Queens, New York. It's located here, but it is an international bakery. She ships throughout the world, and you have got to visit her website because she creates the most mouth-watering treats imaginable. And my fellow Taurus soul sister here, believe me, I'm telling you, she can bake. And so welcome Danielle to the show. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
I'm really happy that you're here today because Danielle is sharing her best-selling brownie recipe. This is incredible because it's a basic brownie recipe, and then she integrates it, and there are 4 different types of brownies that you can actually make. And what we're going to do is Danielle's doing the cooking today, and I'm going to give Danielle and all of you an introduction to astrology while she shares the brownies. I'm going to tell Danielle a little bit about her chart and how astrology operates and works. And we're going to make these brownies, and we are also going to talk about this whole nonsense, this 13th sign nonsense, and I'm going to get it out of your mind once and for all. So without further ado, let's get started on these brownies. Danielle, you're the boss now. You have to tell us, what do we do to begin this brownie recipe?
Okay, first of all, I like everything measured out. I think it's just easier and you don't have a whole mess on your counter. So you start off with 2 sticks of butter. They don't have to be softened. They don't have to be anything. Right out of the fridge is fine. You start...
Unsalted butter, right?
Unsalted butter, yes, sorry. And you start with, first I put 1 on the bottom, and then 2 cups of chocolate chips.
She's not cheap with the chocolate chips. I love it. I love it.
I didn't want to go in. Then you take another stick of butter.
Not cheap with the
This
butter.
is not a health-conscious recipe for all of those watching what you eat.
No, they're still going to make it.
It's a good recipe.
It's really good.
Then you add the last cup of chocolate chips in, and a 1/4 cup of heavy cream.
Wow.
Yes. Then you're going to put this in the microwave for 3 minutes on power 5. Okay, now that it's melted, all you do is, it still looks like some pieces are hard, but they'll melt throughout the thing. So you just mix it, so all the cream, the butter, and all of those chocolate chips get combined. If it's a little liquidy, it's going to go right into the sugar mixture, so it's fine.
I love it. I love the heavy cream with the chocolate chips.
It makes it so much
incredible.
Better. Okay, so you just let this cool off for a little because with the eggs, you don't want to cook the eggs putting it in scorching hot. So now you mix 3/4 cup of white sugar, 3/4 cup of brown sugar. Whoop.
And does this have to be tightly packed, 3/4 cup?
3/4
or
cup,
loose?
yes,
Okay.
packed. 4 eggs. Crack them in a separate bowl first so you don't get any shells in.
And this is such an easy recipe.
Easy recipe.
You would, that's what I love about your style. You're like, no fuss, get right to the point,
easy.
and let's make delicious brownies.
So you add your 4 eggs in. Make sure this is mixed really well because you don't want any clumps of brown sugar baking up.
And she's incorporating the eggs with the brown sugar and the granulated sugar.
Really make sure it's mixed well before you add the chocolate in.
Okay, and while you're mixing this, can I talk a little bit about your astrology?
Go right ahead.
Okay, good. Now I'm getting involved because today I wanted to talk to somebody who has no experience with astrology.
Not at all.
Nothing. She's never seen her birth chart before, no exposure. All Danielle knows is her sun sign, which everybody knows a little bit something about their sun sign. So the first thing I want to tell you actually is that Astrology is the study of the planetary patterns in the sky at the time that you were born and how those patterns reflect your human development, your behavior. Astrologers understand that when you take your first live breath, what happens is there's a unique energy pattern happening in the sky, and that energy pattern imprints onto your soul, and the expression comes out of you as Danielle, the person. And from that map, it's the map of your soul, and that's what I always call it, the blueprint of your soul. And that blueprint, from that blueprint, we can read everything about your potential, your character, your personality, your strengths, your weaknesses, your karmic lessons, all of the most fascinating, interesting things that you want to know about yourself. And the beauty of astrology is that it's a tool. It's a very rich tool that anybody can use for self-development, for self-understanding. And it improves your relationships with other people when you can really understand them on that soul level. It also is so powerful in a practical way, because once you understand your cycles, you can use it to plan things in your life and to make choices and do things at the most opportune times. So you know that you're a Taurus. Yes. The sun was in Taurus when Danielle was born, and so, like I said, we have that in common. And basically, Taurus gets this whole rap for being very physical and material and concerned with the material world. Taurus is an earth sign and very practical and practically oriented, very grounded. But Taurus has deeper lessons that are more than material. Taurus is here to learn about self-worth and about values. And Taurus is concerned about developing one's talents and abilities in order to live the best life in this physical world. You're here to master the physical world through utilizing the best of your talents and abilities. So every Taurus on the planet has major lessons to learn about developing his or her own talents and creating that in a physical way. Taurus is the most sensual sign of the zodiac, meaning all of our senses are fully developed. And this is why Taurus makes such an excellent cook. We're connected to food in a very visceral way. We can truly appreciate the taste of a piece of chocolate that's made from the best type of chocolate versus something that you would just go and buy in the candy store. And we can see the difference. And this is why Taurus makes such an incredible cook, because we understand and appreciate the senses in that way. And we know how to incorporate and make it physical, make it real. So you have very profound lessons about developing your talents and self-worth. And in your chart, Danielle has what's called an opposition between the Sun in Taurus and Pluto. Pluto is the planet of transformation and depth. And because the Sun is in your relationship sector and Pluto is there on the point of your chart called the ascendant or your identity projection, I know that you have very critical lessons to learn about self-empowerment, about not being afraid to develop those talents and abilities, about not being afraid to come into your power. What you might not realize about yourself is that you are an extremely powerful woman. Taurus is one of the power signs of the zodiac, but in Danielle's chart, because she has Scorpio rising and Pluto on the ascendant and the Sun opposing Pluto, there's this tug of war going on in your psyche about confronting your power, about mastering your power. So have you noticed in your life that you tend to deflect your power, particularly onto men in your life, because it's more comfortable for you?
Yes.
Okay, now,
my husband.
and that's not a negative thing, especially if you're in a loving, positive relationship, which I know you are. But you as a Taurus woman with this configuration, you do have lessons about developing your own power and balancing that in the context of your personal relationships and developing your own abilities, your own talents in a business sense, and not being afraid to do that, not taking a back seat. And Danielle's chart is extremely talented in business and entrepreneurial activities because she not only has the Taurus sun, but she has Aries planets. Her Venus is in Aries, her Mercury is in Aries. And this is the entrepreneur, this is the initiator, this is the leader, the achiever. So when you have someone who has that blend of Aries and Taurus, that's someone who will start a business and who has the tenacity to make it succeed. And you're doing that. You're definitely doing that. You're coming into that in a big way. And I do want to talk about your moon sign. I don't know if you want to get back to the brownies first?
Yes, I want to get back to the brownies so we don't cool the chocolate too much.
Okay, great.
Okay. Now, after the chocolate is melted and you really combined the sugars and the eggs, you pour in all that delicious, amazing chocolate, butter, and cream.
Looks good already.
Then you incorporate, nope, you don't mix it yet. We're going to mix it right after. We add 1 cup of flour.
Okay.
Which is all pre-measured.
Is this unbleached white flour?
Regular, plain, old flour.
Okay, that's important to know. You're not picky about the flour.
Not picky about the flour. This, you really have to make sure you incorporate it.
Okay.
Because we don't want any flour when we're pouring it into the bowl on the bottom.
And now it's coming together and it looks like brownie mix.
Yes.
Oh, this is great. I never...
Because separate, you kind of just like eggs and sugar and cream, butter, and chocolate.
And the whole microwave thing is new to me. I love that.
I think it's a lot easier because a lot of people don't have a double broiler and don't know exactly how to do, you know, the pot of water simmering and put a bowl on top. So I just think it's easier. You do have to make sure, though, you put it on power 5 because you don't want the bottom of your chocolate to burn and then the top still to be hard.
Okay.
Once this is extremely incorporated, I'm just going to talk real quick on how to, you can make, this is the original brownie recipe, but you can also alternate to make different types. So for the original brownie recipe, I then add in another cup of chocolate chips.
Wow.
Yes. If you were going to make peanut butter brownies, you would not add that. Add 1 cup of peanut butter chips and 1 cup of smooth or chunky peanut butter, whatever you like. If you're going to make cookies and cream brownies, you would add not the chocolate chips, not the plain chocolate chips. You would add 1 cup of crushed Oreos or any, you know, sandwich cookies.
Never had that kind of brownie. Can't wait to try it.
And 1 cup of white chocolate chips.
Oh, wow.
And if you want to make the s'mores brownies, which are a huge hit, you would add the 1 cup of chocolate chips like you would for the original brownies, 1 cup of crushed graham cracker, and then 1 cup of mini marshmallows. So,
wow.
It's a very versatile recipe.
I love the variety.
So now that this is all incorporated, we are going to put it in the pan.
So before you put it in the pan, if I'm here making brownies with you and I took my spoon and dipped it in and then, you know, licked the bowl and put the spoon back in, you'd have a heart attack, right?
Yes, I would.
Okay. You want to know why she'd have a heart attack?
I'd have an absolute heart attack.
Because Danielle has a Virgo moon. And let me tell you about the moon in her chart. She has, the moon represents what you need. It's what makes you feel safe, what makes you feel nurtured. And I'm teasing her right now because I know as an astrologer that Virgo moon of hers needs to have order, needs to have things a certain way, to be in control of her environment. And as the baker here, Danielle needed to bring her own ingredients. First of all, she had to, it was amazing, so Virgo-like. She had everything precisely measured, brought into the house, and she insisted on bringing her own ingredients and her own equipment, which I knew right away made her feel safe, because the moon, you've got to honor your moon. It's what makes you feel safe. So I was not about to interfere with Danielle's safety needs. I knew she needed to do this. So of course she brought everything and she's, you know, comfortable doing things that way. But the Virgo moon also has that need to create order and to have things exactly just so. So doing something like this would interfere big time with her comfort level. So I won't really do it, but yeah. I just had to tease you a little bit. But I will tell you though, Danielle, with that Virgo moon, it makes you very humble, which is a wonderful quality, really hard worker, actually a workaholic tendencies with that Virgo moon. But it can be very critical of the self. Virgo tends to be so hard on himself or herself. And with the moon there, emotionally, I do think that you are probably harder on yourself than anybody else ever could be. And you don't give yourself enough credit for all of your talents and abilities. And I'll also tell you, sometimes if you're really operating in the shadow of that moon, it's self-deprecating. You can't accept a compliment. You can't compliment yourself. You apologize for existing, and you have clear lessons on not apologizing for your existence and shining your talents and abilities, because they're incredible. And I really hope everybody goes to her website, dee-liciousSweets.com, to check out the talent that this lady has. She has created cakes that would make your jaw drop once you see them. And again, she ships all over the world. And if you're in the tri-state area, you've got to come and order something from her. She will deliver it to you personally. So what's next with these brownies?
Okay. Let's move this.
All righty.
We're going to put it in the pan and pop it in the oven. But first, I want to take a spatula and just really get underneath to make sure there's really no...
That's good.
There's really no flour at the bottom. Then you just take a normal pan, however small, large you want to take it, depending on if you like thick brownies, thin brownies. Really give it a good spray. Any type of spray is fine.
So you could use butter spray,
butter
canola
spray, oil spray,
anything.
olive oil spray,
okay,
whatever you want. I'm not picky.
That's what she's not picky about, the spray.
I'm just going to pour it all in here.
It's a nice, I like the thickness of it. It's a good consistency.
Okay, just shake it and just kind of make it even. And we're just going to pop it in the oven.
I'm going to lick this.
350 degrees for an hour and 10 minutes.
Wow. Okay, that's a nice long baking time.
It's
and
very
it comes out, it's
dense,
thick, yeah,
rich brownie.
Okay. Wow. Oh, I can't wait. Okay, let's pop it in the oven. Okay. So Danielle's brownies have finished baking, and this is the finished product for the regular recipe. She made all 4 types for us, and we're going to sample in a little while. This looks amazing. My mouth is watering, and I don't even want to talk about the astrology anymore, but I have to address all of this craziness that's been going on in the media recently about this so-called 13th sign and how that has changed the zodiac. Let me assure you, nothing has changed. There is no 13th sign. We have operated for thousands of years as astrologers who practice Western astrology using the tropical zodiac. The tropical zodiac is a zodiacal system that functions based on the seasons, not the constellations. We use the seasons as our reference point in astrology. Sidereal astrology, on the other hand, uses the constellations. So Ophiuchus is a real constellation in our sky. However, it has no bearing on the zodiacal system, on the signs of the zodiac. We still have 12 signs. And in the tropical zodiac, we begin at the vernal equinox, 0 degrees Aries, the spring. And the signs reflect modalities. We have the signs based on the seasons. So all of the signs that begin a season are known as the cardinal signs. This is Aries, this is Cancer, Libra, Capricorn. These are the beginners, the initiators of the zodiac. And you'll probably notice, Danielle, people in your life who are cardinal signs, they're go-getters. They like to begin things and move forward. Now, in the middle of every season, we have the sustaining signs. These are known as the fixed signs. Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, Aquarius. They sustain a season. They keep things going. And you'll notice the fixed people will get things done. They are stubborn. They will not yield. They will not give up. They keep it going. And then towards the end of the season, when it's ready to change, but not quite there yet, we have the mutable signs. And the mutable signs are Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces. And these are the guys that are at the tail end of every season, just when it's beginning to change. So you'll notice these are the signs, mutable. They go with the flow. They're open to change. They're flexible. Not at all like the fixed signs. We're not as flexible. We're not as good with change. But those mutable guys, they can change. And your husband's a mutable sign. Yes. He's a Gemini. So He opens you up to change. He helps you to be more flexible.
Yes.
And you help him keep steady on the track.
Yes.
So you can help each other out in that way. But getting back to this 13th sign, it's impossible. It's never going to happen in a zodiacal system that uses the tropical zodiac, which is how we have practiced Western astrology for thousands of years. So please do not go frantically removing your tattoos. Do not frantically think that you have to read a different horoscope sign now. You are the sign that you have been since the day you were born, and that will never change. On that note, we have to dig into these brownies. And I have to ask you, what's your response to this little mini introduction in astrology? Do you resonate with things? Are you open to learning more?
I'm totally open to learning more because the little bit that you told me is so true, and I find it extremely interesting.
So it reflects your personality in a strong way. Okay.
And in a very strong way.
Do you resonate with some of the deeper psychological imprints that I touched on?
Yes.
You do? Okay.
Yes.
And you have to realize astrology can get deeply personal. It is the sister science of psychology. So we can get really into the nitty-gritty. That's something that I do all the time in my private practice with clients. And I encourage you to go visit my website, InsightfulAstrology.com, to learn more about me and my work. And definitely go check out dee-liciousSweets.com to learn more about Danielle and her work. And right now we are going to sample some of her work. What do you recommend?
I prefer the original, but s'mores are a big hit.
I have never tried a s'mores brownie. So this is the s'mores. I have to.
I
have to. Oh, I'm about to be in brownie heaven. Oh my God. This is a chocolate orgasm. You have to make these brownies. Simple recipe, a ton of flavor. Wow, chocolate heaven. Thank you for coming on the show, Danielle.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.